it will automatically notify you when I go on. So, okay, so I think I'll get started. So I am Catherine, and I'm the owner and sole dietitian at La Dolce Vita Nutrition and Breath Coaching. And today we're going to do some breath patterns for your metabolism, for boosting your metabolism, which ultimately is affected by your digestive fire, right? So it's basically going to work on the digestive fire, and then in turn boost your metabolism. And then this particular one of the breath patterns that we do too is also helping to tone the abdominal, the very deep abdominal muscles. A lot of people don't realize breath work, especially certain patterns, are really good for abdominal toning, those really, really deep muscles. And so one of our breath patterns today is going to basically work on that. This is really great for postpartum moms. This is really great for people that are just on a journey of health. You know, if you've noticed as you are getting older, maybe hormone imbalances and things, you might gain a little extra around the midsection. I do want to note though, this breath pattern, both that we're going to do today, are contraindicated for women who are pregnant and also women on their moon cycle. So anyone on their menstrual cycle should not do these breath patterns. You can modify these to just do slow in and out nasal breathing, but we don't want to be doing these more active breath patterns and breath holds during both of those times of the month. Or pregnancy is not a time of the month, but you know what I mean, during that time of your life or during the time of your monthly cycle. Okay, so one thing I do want to say is a lot of people don't realize your digestive fire is basically, it's got to be strong, right? And it's got to be fueled constantly to maintain health. And so really good hydrochloric acid content's important. And what people don't realize is you can actually do these breath patterns right before a meal to help you digest if you've noticed you're having trouble digesting proteins or fats or things like that. So as a dietitian, you know, I'm never a fan of taking food groups out of the diet. I get people that ask me a lot, like, oh, I'm having trouble digesting meat. Should I just not eat meat? And I don't think that's the answer, right? The answer is actually going to the root of the problem and figuring out why you're having trouble digesting meat. So aside from doing like a digestive enzyme, these breath patterns can really help with that. And that being said, what people don't also realize is our digestion changes with the seasons, okay? That's why we have seasonal eating or seasonal foods. So it's all a perfect, beautiful science that's just naturally put in for us to follow if we listen. And in the summer, the warmer temperatures, it's inversely related to our digestion. So actually in the summer, the hotter it is, the lower our digestive fire. So that's why we often hear in the summer you eat foods that are cooling, but you also eat foods that are easy to digest. So things like raw, fresh fruits, like salads, things like that that are just easier, not so hearty. And then in the winter, as the temperatures drop, our digestive fire goes up, and so we're able to tolerate those heavier, heartier foods. And this is kind of like, I mean, if you think about it from long ago when people used to work the land and all of that, that's sort of just how they intuitively ate, right? Kind of that storing up during the winter time. So being that I'm sure most of the country, I'm in Dallas and we're in like the hundreds, so my digestive fire is probably pretty low at this point. And wherever you are, since it's that season, so we're going to work on igniting our digestive fire today. During the breath of fire breathing pattern, you might notice your system actually heating up. Like you might notice a flush in your face, in your body, just kind of heat, because it's a very active breath. I'm going to get up on my knees to show you, but you can practice this pattern on your knees, sitting easy style on a mat. You can do it on a chair right before you eat. You can of course do it laying down. All you really need is anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes of this, and this is our kind of our warm-up breath. So if you've done these breath breaks with me before, you kind of know that the way that we breathe and how our diaphragm and stomach expand and contract is really important. So On the breath in, we're going to expand. So think of your breath in as expansion. So diaphragm expands, stomach expands out, okay? So this isn't a time to hold it in. Expansion. And then on the exhale, as we breathe back in, or on the exhale as we breathe out, we're going to contract, okay? So expansion, contract, okay? The breath is going to be all through the nose. It's our nasal breathing, the pranayama, yogic breathing. And so it's going to be in and out through the nose, and you can go as fast or as slow as you need to. The main goal of this is the technique. So my breath is very fast because I've been doing this for a while, but if you want to go slower, certainly you can. So I'm going to actually turn to the side so you can see the expansion. Lift this up. Okay, so I'm going to start slow and kind of go up, and I'm going to move my arms just to show you expansion, contraction. So it's going to start like this. So that's a slower, and then here's a faster pace. Okay, so notice I'm not rounding my back. I'm not doing my back is not involved. It's just the abdominals and the diaphragm expanding, contracting, okay? So on that contraction, when you're pulling the belly button, you're trying to pull that belly button in. Imagine it pulling to the spine, okay? So this is like, you're going to feel this in your abdominals, especially if you have weak abdominals, if you've had children, things like that, any excess weight on you, you will definitely feel that. So I'm going to give you just a few seconds, just try that at home, and this is going to be your 1 to 3 minute kind of warm up to our next exercise, okay? So everyone try that. If you have any questions, send them to me in the comment section. I can answer those. And as always, I am available for one-on-one sessions or group sessions if you have like a fun ladies group that wants to maybe meet and learn some things like about breathing during exercise, for digestive fire, for blood pressure. I have all sorts of good things. Okay, so now we're going to move to the second one. Now this next one is more of a breath retention. And then during the breath retention, we're going to be basically exercising the abdominal muscles. This one's very good, by the way, if you are prone to constipation or you struggle with constipation. Both of these are very good to help start kind of moving the bowels. This second one in particular is great because it's literally massaging the colon, the bowels, the whole digestive area. Breath retention, some people get really scared when I say breath retention. There's a lot of really cool, like old historical research about retaining the breath and kind of having that slight hypoxia feeling. We never want to retain the breath to where we're struggling, like turning red, veins popping out, right? So if you don't want to get to that point, it's just a little bit of a struggle. You know when you need to come out of the breath retention and take the breath when you're just right on the edge of that, okay, I think I need some air, okay? So if you're a beginner to this, your breath retention may only be for 10 seconds or 15 seconds. If you're someone that's more prone to doing these type of pranayamic exercises, you may be able to hold it for 2 minutes, okay? So whatever you feel, you have to be the one to listen to your body, and as you continue to do these practices, you will feel the breath retention getting stronger, your lung capacity, the elasticity in your lungs. So this next one, I'm going to turn sideways again. So you're basically going to take your breath in and you're going to blow that belly out. So it's going to balloon out, okay? Breath in through the nose. Then you're going to hold the breath. So you're not taking a breath, you're not exhaling, okay? You're just breathing out, belly out through the nose, and then all you're doing while you're holding the breath is you're basically, do you see my belly? Do you see how I'm contracting it in and out? Okay, but my breath is being held during this. So it's literally all coming from the abdominals. And ladies, just as an aside, for pelvic floor stuff, dysfunction, prolapse, things like that, you're wanting to also make sure you initiate that perineum area, your pelvic floor. So make sure you're pulling up and in. So on that breath, you're going up and in. Up and in. So I'm going to show you with the breath retention what this looks like. So I'm going to take my breath in. And then breathe out. So I just did 15 contractions, okay? As you can hold your breath longer, you'll be able to do more. I usually try to set a limit, like I'll do 3 rounds of these and I'll maybe do 50 contractions each round, okay? So if you can only do 15, because that's as long as you can safely and comfortably hold your breath, then that's fine, just do 3 rounds of them. As you get better at it, you might be able to hold it for 100 rounds